Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. Today I have a Crackout challenge for you. So this is your daily dopamine hit. I'll be your dope. You'll see what I mean in just a second here. 1912, 2.5 Indian. Most all these coins were for a customer, and you'll figure out which one was mine really easily. But this coin especially was sent in just to have an experiment. He had bought this in this Numis Trust Corp holder, but he knew it was not going to come back at 65. But just so you know, that is a thing that you got to be aware of. On almost anything that's going to be in one of those holders, you're almost always going to see them off by many points. The good thing here is this coin is actually uncirculated. MS62, really great luster still on the coin, and I'll say that generally speaking, I've seen lots of Numis Trust holders where the coin was graded uncirculated and the coin itself was not uncirculated. And I don't mean just like an MS63, I mean a coin that was graded a high grade and it came back a much lower grade. So, you want to be careful with stuff like that. Next up, this 030, which was in an old ANACS Soapbox MS64. So some of these soapboxes, if I can get back on my soapbox for just a minute, we had a rather large group of stuff. It's for a customer, and like I said before, he was really pretty picky about things. We were pretty picky about what to crack out, what to cross over, all of that type of stuff. And he wanted to do somewhere that he cracked them instead of crossing them, just to see if they would do any better. And this coin is absolutely stunning in hand and super clean cheek. Went from a 4 to a 5. I honestly, that's really stunning for an 030. It's a coin that's flatly struck. The fields on this coin are just awesome. That's a coin that goes in the gray sheet from like 730 to 850 or something. That's plus more than 100 on that coin. Here we've got this 3 cent that was unk details cleaned, which I really liked, and I thought was very much so a neat looking coin, and honest to goodness, I just thought it had some toning to it. Still think it has some toning to it, but to me, you look at that coin especially, you got the lusters going on there. That's all, I'd say that's all good, but also cleaned unk details. I don't think we've got to worry about the greater fool theory on this one. I think we know who the greater fool is. All right, 1926 nickel, MS64, and I'm laughing because look at how that coin pops. And I know 26 Phillies, not a rare date, and so I've owned, so the coins from the 20s in the Buffalo series are really interesting because it's much harder to get a coin that looks like this than it is to find a coin that looks like this from the 30s. Like if I just saw this coin and didn't know the date, I would say, oh, that's like a 35 or a 37 or 38, just because of the overall color and luster and everything. So to see a 26 that looks like this to me is a little bit more unusual. Sometimes the coins from the 20s, they just have a different tone to them. And MS65, stunning coin, really pretty coin, and I'm glad that one upgraded for him. So that gray sheet goes from like 85 to 150. So we got another winner here. This is really the Buffalo Nickel edition more than anything else, but I'm not allowed to say that anymore. So here's what I'm talking about, a coin from the 20s. So this is a 24, and this is a lot more typical of the type of color you'd see on a coin from the 20s. Just more of a steely gray, some funky toning to it. Just not an even color palette. Kind of really a mixed color palette on the coin. Once again, the Phillies aren't the hardest coins to get, but this one actually is a little bit tougher. So maybe I looked it up right. From a 3 to a 4. It goes from, it's like doubles, like 150 to 320 or something like that. So tougher coins to get in higher grades. A lot of the coins from the 20s are that way. So, and last but not least, I have this Type 1 in a 64 holder. Do not adjust your dials. I control the horizontal, I control the vertical too. So, you know, nickels can be hard because sometimes when a nickel is lustrous, you really lose track of what it should look like in a gem state. And what I mean by that is it's really easy to get blinded by the light on some of these coins, right? So you look at a coin and you'll just see how it glows, and you always want to call it a really high grade. So sometimes you got to remind yourself that, okay, well, there are lots of little contact marks that they start to look at on a coin to determine whether it's actually gem or if it's just a you know, a really high eye appeal, nice BU coin, right? So this one, you know, the cheek, the face, really clean. The fields, it's easy to see the fields are open, right? But then where you get a lot of contact marks gets up in the hairlines up here. And so you have to kind of remind yourself what a coin should look like. So where'd my, it helps if I have the right one here. From a 4 to a 6 plus, of course, as always, these are not really indicative of what you will get if you send coins in for, you know, resubmission, except for wherever this guy went, wherever the 3 cent. This is more likely to happen, you know, than this is. Just so y'all don't get too excited about cracking everything you own in a soapbox and sending it in. But it's cool because, like, so one of my complaints in general about coin grading is typically if I take a coin like this nickel and I send it in, oftentimes I feel like it'll come back as 64 because it's such a common date that they won't really take the time to look at it. They really like this coin. I really like this coin. I'm excited for the guy who owns this coin. It goes from, I don't know, in 64 it's like $70. I don't know what a 6 plus is, but it's probably north of 300. But I will say, as much as I just gave you the caveat on doing stuff like this, I will say that there still are plenty of things out there that I think, especially on common dates, where the coin wasn't really looked at, I think, in a fair light, wasn't given a fair shake because it's so common, they just kind of gloss over it. But you know, occasionally you can get them done right and get them sent back in and get them in the proper holder. I've had a few buffaloes like that in the past. One of my favorite groups of buffaloes I ever had in was just stunning stuff. And the first time I sent them in, they came back like 64s. And then I was like, really? And then we resubmitted them and they came back, you know, the higher grades like this. So, you know, kudos for looking at it again. You can guess who the biggest loser is. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.